5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And it's live.
This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen on your podcast platform.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome along. How the devil are we all? It's the two boldies. Used to be the two Ronnies, but it's now the two boldies. Good evening, Dan.
How you doing? How is everybody? How's the world? How is life, Chris?
This has been so long coming, hasn't it?
It has, and you've said that before.
I have. And Kate says, never mind, I'll carry on. No, welcome along. Hey, this is something, we thought we'd try something new. And I have to say, not something as, different as like Bruce Jenner did when he changed into Caitlyn Jenner. But, we thought we'd try something a little bit different because we talk about Leicester and you talk about Burnley and we're getting really depressed and you aren't. And I just thought, let's talk and look at other things that are going on in the world of football. Starting a little bit earlier tonight, 9 o'clock. That's because you weren't playing away. Hello, Kate, if you're watching. But no, normally it's going to be 10, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It is going forward. I think we're going to start at 10 o'clock. And yeah, give you guys what you want. Talk about all the pressing matters in football, and you can let us know what you think in the chat.
Yeah, we have a list. Well, I have a list here of topics. However, please do join in with the chat in the chat below. It'll all appear in the bottom corner, and also. If you've got anything you want to talk about, stick it in there. Won't say we will get round to it tonight. We'll see how the time goes. We might not even get through all our topics. And the funny thing is,
I did do a pack of 6 at Tesco's earlier. I had to scrub the chocolate out my beard earlier.
God, and it starts. And it starts.
What, the stomach ache.
Yes. But the silly thing is, actually, this is the first show, but we won't be here next week.
No.
Because you look completely confused because you don't know this, and I think I forgot to tell you. I'm on holiday next week.
Flipping heck.
Yes. Off to Tenerife. No, off to Lanzarote.
Ah, nice.
I know. I'm going to miss 2 Leicester games, but I won't be crying. But say hi.
You thinking you'd received a call from I'm a Celeb or something, Chris? Then I was waiting for the big announcement.
Right,
or was it I'm a pleb, get me out of here?
Yeah, well, I was only because no, I can't think of what I was going to say. Let's just move on. Armchair Jockey, hi. Yeah, we are going to be talking about our Brendan. Ronald McDonald, hello again to you. Blue Fox, hi. And Paul, hello again. How are you? Can I just say, guys, what a nice audience you are. So much nicer than that audience earlier. They were all in the chat earlier, in the earlier show.
Myself included.
I thought it was funny. Look, we're going to start with the main topic because it did raise a smile on my little face because obviously this gentleman used to be at Leicester, and we're talking obviously Brendan Rodgers now. And it was quite funny because during that last season, Top would not sack him. Basically, he was trying to be loyal to him because he felt he hadn't been able to back him, etc., etc., etc. And we were all saying, "Oh, come on, just walk, Brendan, walk," and he never did because he knew he wouldn't get any money if he did. And yet here we are at Celtic.
Mm.
What is it with Glasgow clubs at the moment?
I don't know. I mean, the economy in Scotland's took a battering as it is, just like the weather.
Yeah,
But you said it there with Leicester that, probably similar to what I think, is it the largest shareholder at Celtic, is it Dermot
yeah.
Desmond, said he's created a bit of a toxic atmosphere.
I've got the key quotes from his statement here, which we'll go through in a second.
Yeah, I mean, it's harsh. It's hard and it's harsh. But it's the reality of being a manager of one of those top two teams in, Scottish football, that if you're not getting results, and at the moment the gap between, Celtic themselves and Hearts, I think is 12 points now, and as well, Celtic made, they sold some of their decent players as well in the summer. I think there was one or two that ended up going to Birmingham. I know that sounds silly because of where they are and they play Champions League football, but we all say it as English fans that the SPL is just like the Championship, etc. Working down. But sometimes, your career can stagnate when you've been there for quite a period of time as well. We've seen it with Sean Dash. So, if it's the fact that behind the scenes, something's gone on, and a lot of fans sort of had their say about Rodgers, didn't they? They thought he had a bit of an ego about him.
Well, that is true. It is all about him. Ask any Leicester fan, and we would say the same. And there's some of these quotes, and I'm like thinking, Desmond, whatever he's called. I was going to say Decker, but you're too young to remember that.
I was going to say Brendan Rodgers might have kept his job if he got a 2-2.
Dermot Desmond is what he's called. Sorry, Mr. Desmond. But when he was seeing some of these things, I'm thinking, yeah. And I literally was ticking them off, and everything he was saying was everything we were accusing Rodgers of being. And look, we hate Rodgers because he got us relegated, but we have to say he won the FA Cup for us. He got us European football 2 years on the trot. You could argue we should have been in the Champions League, but we didn't. It was the European, but we finished 5th 2 years running. He wanted money for a rebuild, which he told he would be getting. He was going out talking to players. And then, because of PSR and Top not talking to him, he didn't get the money. And that caused, obviously, trouble between everybody. And Top just, the ties just don't speak to the fans. So we had no bloody idea what was going on. But he's saying about the players that he bought. He had a say in every single one. And that was the thing at Leicester. Leicester was saying, the shite that he bought, he wanted. Iose Perez, 30 million from Newcastle to get that with his get-out clause. Unfortunately, he never had one good game for us.
No, and don't get me wrong, there is managers that get it wrong. Not all. We're only human. We're not perfect.
No,
it's there's people that behind the scenes nowadays, do their work well. Yeah, you're not far from. Not far from. When I base you on my credentials, anyway. Perfectly imperfect is how I'd put you, Chris. But there's a lot more done now around transfers compared to probably what these managers like Rodgers were used to, where they had to go and send their assistant manager out or go take 1 or 2 games in themselves to see it for themselves what this player was like. And there's a lot more sports science behind it. But at the time, like you said, the questionable signings that you made and the amounts of money spent on them as well already gets you worried as a fan. I think one of the things that Rodgers scrutinised at Celtic was the lack of summer recruitment was one of the things I've read quoted, and obviously being knocked out by the the Kazakhstan team, wasn't it?
Probably something like that.
Karya Almaty or something like that they were called.
Yeah.
I have done my research, or should I say the next tab according to this is telling me so anyway. But no, it's
that's for all our viewers in Kazakhstan, by the way. Welcome along.
It was his time to go. It's needed a change, and you see now with a lot of clubs, they seem to be going back to these legends, and I don't understand why. It could really tarnish them by doing that.
I mean, let's be honest. It was like I say. When I look back at it, I mean, hindsight's a wonderful thing. But when you look back at it, I'm thinking like, you know what? We had some good years under Rodgers, and he was a good manager for us. Fortunately, he does need the money. He's one of these managers that can't really manage on a shoestring, and he's used to like when he's at Liverpool, he had money to spend. And when he left, I mean, they hated him at Celtic when he left the first time, and he went. He came to us, and we wanted him there. And he could have said no to us. I'll come at the end of the season. He didn't, and I think it was the right decision for us because it meant that he got a chance to look at the players for the end of that season because we weren't up or down or anything, so he could just study the players. But I was surprised how they welcomed him back.
Yeah, player power. You know, they've said about there's been a lot said about player power at Leicester in recent years. In terms of when management appointments have been around. And there's always going to be that power group, you know, your captain, your vice captain. You're going to have that voice that always sometimes goes to speak to the hierarchy, etc. So I look forward to seeing how this works out at Celtic, because it's very interesting, especially at this point of the season. It's a strange time for. And the question mark I've got is, why wasn't he sacked? Why have they let him? Why have they scrutinised him once they've allowed him to walk away with his tail between his legs?
Football's a strange thing. Talking about strange things, Kate's in. Hi, Kate. How are you doing? The lovely, delicious Kate. Lovely to see you again. Lovely to see you again. Let me know when he's next out, Kate. I'll pop round. Right, these are the key quotes. I mean, this is what Desmond put out. Dermot Desmond put out last night on the day it happened. I mean, we were live. We were doing a show around this time, and somebody came in and went, "Oh, he's been sacked." And there was nothing. It was that early. There was nothing sort of on the news, but it was on their website. But he went. Unfortunately, I mean, it's quite damning. This. Unfortunately, his conduct and communication in recent months have not reflected that trust. Whoa. Every player signed and every player sold during his tenure was done so with Brendan's full knowledge, approval, and endorsement. Any insinuation otherwise is absolutely false. Brendan and I met for over 3 hours at his home in Scotland to discuss the issue. Despite ample opportunity, he was unable to identify a single instance where the club has obstructed or failed to support him. The facts did not match his public narrative. Regrettably, his words and actions have since then have been divisive, misleading, and self-serving. They have contributed to a toxic atmosphere around the club and fueled heavily towards members of the executive team and the board. What has failed recently was not due to our structure or model, but to one individual's desire for self-preservation at the expense of others. My God, he's not just stuck the knife in there; he's bloody twisted it around about 10 times, hasn't he?
That's mad. That is mad. I can't believe that. It is a really well-structured statement, but it's proper.
They were just key quotes that I saw.
It's told the world, though. It's told the world exactly what everybody has said about Brendan Rodgers. His ego is, I am up there with the privileged and elite managers.
Yes,
and it's like, you're not. mate. You're not. Never mind. Hey, Gucci belt. Hey,
Yeah.
yeah. Could you imagine saying that if you were a kid in the 60s? Hey, Gucci belt, now get up them fucking stairs. It's like, no, it's not going to work. How many? We're seeing it a lot with managers, though. Nuno with Forest, Parker at Bournemouth.
Yeah.
You know, it's you call out the wrong people
You've
of
got
actually taking some accountability, and it's going to cost you your job.
yes. I mean, he would have gone earlier at Leicester, I think, if he had not been
Like that.
hadn't been so loyal. Yeah, exactly. But everything that he said there, and as Paul says there, he's right. Matthew's in. Hi, Matthew. Woof. That's a rough statement. Yes, it surely is. But he was throwing the players under the bus. He was taking no responsibility whatsoever. I mean, do you remember when Conte was at Chelsea and he sat down in that press conference and really roasted the board? And he was gone within the week. You know what I mean? There's diplomacy. Now I don't know how March is going to be. He's not really been with us that long, but I look at it and think, well, he seems to sort of be more diplomatic. But that's damning, isn't it?
It is. I think a lot of people will be looking at Celtic for, similar to as the average Joe applies for a job. Have you got two references? I don't think he'll be going back to Celtic for one because his reference is out in the public domain.
The thing is, he'll get snapped up by somebody.
Oh, he'll be out in Saudi Arabia in no time.
Yeah. I mean, I did mention we did have a Wrexham fan in the chat yesterday because we were doing the Championship review. A very nice Wrexham fan. And we said, well, you've got a bit of money. He might come down to you. And he basically was, I don't fucking want him. But now, interestingly, today, Brendan has come back, obviously.
See, this is the first time I'm hearing this. So
I haven't really read this myself because I was just on the show up until half an hour before we started here.
Aye, Sir King Brendan.
There are two. This is on the BBC. There are two sides to every story, and so we wait for Roger's version. So closest is worth a. I don't necessarily think he's come out and said anything yet. Just let's have a look. The insinuation, every player so basically, they're going back at what he was said. Celtic Football Club can confirm that football manager Brendan Rodgers has today tendered his resignation. Nobody really expected Brendan Rodgers to be at Celtic next season. Wow. But equally, nobody thought that he was about to resign. During the week, he said he was never more motivated in my time at Celtic. Well, we do know one thing. I had a little meme about it, a little jingle. He talks a load of bollocks. He really does. In June, both Michael Nicholson and Dermot Desmond expressed to Brendan that we were keen to offer him a contract extension to reaffirm the club's full backing. I mean, you've got to look at this, Dan, and say, really, I think he shot himself in the foot because Rangers are in such a bloody mess that apart from, Hearts, and they lost to Hearts, I know, at the weekend, but they shouldn't have anything to worry about, Celtic.
No, they shouldn't. The size of the club, the stature of them. I must bring it back to fans as well, that it's just, I said literally not so long ago that I think it's the wrong timing for this announcement for Celtic as well. I think there's been mass protests up there in regards to the fans wanting a change at boardroom level. So this doesn't really help the boardroom's level, the boardroom's approach to fans. If the fans thought, well, yeah, Brendan, we've sort of welcomed Brendan back. We accept that he's potentially got this Billy Big Bollocks attitude. But,
as long as he's winning, it doesn't matter, does it?
Yeah, exactly. And I know that's 17 points difference, and I totally get it. And is it 8? Sorry.
It's 8.
No,
You're close, though.
It's because they're on 17 points. That's what I mean. Celtic, but not. I was just reading then, as you were going through that statement, that it says a
Yeah,
large number
Celtic
of
are on 17. Sorry, Hearts are on 25. Yeah.
So, a large number of the fans want to change at boardroom level. They don't feel that the structure at Celtic is functioning the way that it should. So, in some ways, that remains unfixed by a change of manager. So, I can understand some uproar and unrest amongst the fans.
Yeah.
But this is going to be massive. If it's hard, it's the first thing that's
Is
easy
it?
to do. No, the first thing that's easy to do is put the blame on the management and the team. Is there some truth in what Brendan's saying? Well, if the fans are saying that they want change at boardroom level, then there's got to be some aspects to what Brendan has come
Yeah.
out and said.
Yeah.
However, they are still your employers, so no matter what, they ain't going anywhere. It
Yeah.
falls at your door. Don't buy the hand that feeds you. You know what? I've used that saying so many times recently, but it's the most factual statement you can say in situations like this. Managers should know better when they have to speak to media 3-4 times a week. They should know that there's certain levels that you just go, I'm not going to let that creep out.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, I'm looking at the table here. I mean, Rangers, in fairness, are up to fifth, and they're on 12 points. That's how quickly this table can change. You've got Doug's team, unfortunately, at bottom. We won't mention that. Hi, Doug, if you're watching. But I mean, Hibernian are only 3 points behind Celtic. I mean, Martin O'Neill yesterday morning was praising Hearts and saying this is a great opportunity for Hearts, and he's gone back in. He's gone back in as a standing manager. He said he had to think about it for 10 minutes.
Yeah,
I
from what I heard though, that same guy, Summit Desmond or whatever, apparently
Yeah.
had him in this room and said, "You're not leaving until you give me an answer, yes or no." Basically, had his arm up his back, basically saying, "Tell me," or that's it.
Wow.
So,
Wow. Well, Anthony's in. Hi, Anthony. Oi, oi, Savaloy. Talking of sausages.
Where you're going, your father will never find you.
Oh, that takes me back. Welcome along. I mean, an Arsenal fan second, a Bristol Rovers fan first. Yeah, he does. He does. Are Leicester in the Premier League? Asking a friend. Funny enough, though, we're not at the moment, but then you won't be by the end of the season. I mean, when we change things, we go from being awful and only just surviving to winning the Premier League. You go from missing out on a Champions League space because you can't beat us. Then you end up in the Conference League. You manage to get into the Europa League because somebody else is thrown out. That's really good, isn't it? And then, and then you go through. Is it 3 managers in a year? I mean, are you Watford in disguise or what? Just put it out there, Nottingham Forest. But we'll see you next. We're not going up this season, but we'll see you next season when you come down. That will come back and bite me on the arse, won't it?
I'll tell you what, Dawes put one comment in it, and then he's just watched you go off and sat there with his popcorn, just going, quality, day's work done, signing out.
I'm happy because he gave me the chance to say that. But no, I actually was quite pleased. I like to see anybody other than the top 6 doing well. I like to see, and if that was Nottingham Forest, well done, guys. But you are cocking it up this season. I mean, Marinakis for Sheffield Wednesday. Anyway, look, finishing off with Celtic. I mean, if Rangers were to finish above Celtic this season, it'd be so hilarious, wouldn't it?
After the season they started with Russell Martin as well. Jeez, and I know we're going to get on to that appointment. Yeah, it's going to be something. I think it will be the board needed to do something drastic to get the fans back on side. So calling in a manager like Martin O'Neill to be fair, the man's been out the game for so long. You know, is he actually going to understand how football works now? In terms of you've got someone wiping your arse every 2 minutes. You can't ask the ball boy to clean such and such's boots anymore because the ball boy's already on 12 grand a week. It's like it's silly, but football has evolved so much, and this is what I mean. You know, I just want to give a fair shout out to Hearts, to be fair, because they've absolutely performed out the skin, recruited really well this year. And again, we say it about the Premier League, we say it about the Championship and other leagues as well, but it's nice to see somebody else's name at the top of the tree.
It is. And I've got to say, I have two Scottish teams. One of them is Hearts, as it happens, and the other one is St Johnstone, which, you know, is like the run to the litter.
See, I did like St Johnstone for a while when we had Owen Coyle and he came from that area, and then they can go. No, I've got a soft spot for Dundee, not Dundee United, but Dundee.
Dundee Cake. Yes. But that's just because it's Lorraine Kelly's team, and you've got a soft spot for Lorraine Kelly. Or a hard spot, I should say, shouldn't I?
I need to get that checked out.
I mean, in fairness, you know, I mean, Martin O'Neill's gone back. It doesn't always work when you go back. I mean, Martin O'Neill didn't really work at Nottingham Forest when he went back. And the problem, I think, with these managers is, look, we all love Nigel Clough. He was never a dull moment. But once Peter Taylor had left and retired and then passed, he was useless on his own.
Yeah.
Nigel Pearson had Craig Shakespeare. What a team. Then Craig Shakespeare, when they got sacked from one of either us or our sister club, and then he came back and I don't know. But eventually they went their own ways. Nigel Pearson was never as good.
No.
You know, and I think sometimes you get these managers back and they're great with who, you know, in a two, but they're not necessarily so great in a one. But as you said, and we will come on to these managers in a second, but, you know, Graham Potter, how long was he out of a game?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're quite right, Ronald. And any side of company that sponsors a team, I'm following that team. Mind you, I'll tell you what, when they turned up on the pitch, it was like watching Cowboys and Indians. They were having to dodge the arrows, keep coming in the pitch. If you know the Strongbow adverts there, guys.
I remember.
Yeah. I mean, to me, though, I think Brendan, he'll get another job. And that's the thing with managers, isn't it? No matter how shit you are, you get another job.
Yeah, and I think managers now aren't scared to actually drop down a couple of divisions because they know if they get it right, they're still going to have that back catalogue of look at what they've done. Clearly, they've gone. They'll commend them for dropping down the divisions, but then also they'll be quick enough to jump ship. Look at Steve Bruce when he took over at Sheffield Wednesday, and everyone thought, oh, this could stand out pretty well. They started, I think, 1 or 2 games, did all right, and then he got offered the Newcastle job, and he jumped ship straight away. Yeah. So, these managers they're just like footballers in a way. They find these little dark arts ways of managing to beat the system. And we will see him in a dugout again.
We will. Be interesting to see where he goes, because when he was doing well at Leicester, he was being linked with Spurs and Man United and Real Madrid. I mean, it was ridiculous. And then, of course, when he left us, he ended back up at Celtic. So... but he will end up somewhere.
There's a team in Kazakhstan that beat Celtic at minute. They keep having spam calls from Scotland.
But you know what you were saying with Martin O'Neill? It's an excellent point that he's been out of the game so long. Will he understand, the way that people play? Because he isn't going to be playing 4-2-3-1, is he?
No.
And
I think
then
the appointment of Sean Maloney with him will help, because I think Sean Maloney's recently, I think his recent job was at Wigan, or if I'm not mistaken, I can't remember fully, but I know he was the manager there for a while. I think he's managed Scotland, Sean Maloney, as well. So, obviously, being an ex-player at Celtic, Sean Maloney will have a bit more of an up-to-date nous of how things tick. I think, if anything, this was just a tick-in-the-box exercise for the boardroom to try and get fans back on their side and not the Brendan side of things.
When we sacked Brendan and we got Dean Smith in, and wasn't everybody's sort of first choice? It could have been worse. It could have been, what was that Leeds American guy?
Oh,
you know what I
Jesse
mean.
March.
Jesse Marsh.
Jesse
Yeah,
Marsh,
we could have had him. In fact, I think we offered it to him. But the reason that Dean Smith was so welcome back was because he had Craig Shakespeare as his number 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of course, but I can say he has been out of the game so long, and has indeed had a certain Mr. Potter.
Yes.
And how did that work out for him?
Not that well. Not well at all.
No. I mean, look, we all know that our owner stalked him 3 times allegedly, although he did deny one of those. And then there was the 4th time. And he kept turning us down because we weren't offering him probably as much as he was earning, from Chelsea still. Because they still pay you after they sack you, don't they, until you get another job or you get a nice lump sum. And he didn't obviously want Leicester. And I understand him going to West Ham because he was at Brighton before, and Brighton to London's very easy if that's where he lived. And then obviously he was at Chelsea, but he went into West Ham. And it seems to be that this year, any manager that's been linked to Leicester seems to either be doing very, very well at a job or fucking awful at a job. So let's look at Graham Potter, first of all. I mean, there, but for the grace of God. I mean, I put a thing up saying, my God, we dodged a bullet there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And, Ronald McDonald's, I put comment spot on as well there with John Terry for that.
Have you seen, just a sidetrack for a moment, we'll be doing a lot of this during this show. we need a sat nav. But have you seen the Paddy Power advert with Alan Kirbishley?
Yes.
For those of anybody watching that hasn't, Alan Kirbishley, great example of be careful what you wish for. He was manager of Charlton, and he kept Charlton in the top division for 5, 6, 7 years, but they were always finishing mid-table. The fans weren't happy. They wanted him out. So the board sacked him, and then it just went boom, 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 boom down the divisions. And he is sat at home. It's a bit like that fly fishing by John Hartley advert that I did. That list, he can't understand why he's not been offered a job. And he said, I've sent out loads of letters and I've made, but why does nobody want me? I can still do a job. Then the phone rings and he picks it up. He's going, hello? Manchester United? No, I'm busy. Sorry. It's just Paddy Power. I salute you. I salute you for that. That was a brilliant, brilliant thing. But yeah, but Graham Potter went. I mean, I put, we dodged a bullet with that one. And I think we did. And he's now a national manager, but he's back to Sweden where he started.
Yeah, he's gone back to sort of roots that.
Yeah,
I think it could do him well. A national side that. Well, I say that. Sweden, you've got Alexander Isak, who doesn't know where the net is anymore. £100 million on a striker that doesn't know what a rectangle looks like with a bit of netting.
Doesn't that happen though? Doesn't that happen?
It does.
Fernando Torres.
Yes.
Torres in for love at Liverpool, went to Chelsea
and couldn't score for love nor money. But then cropped up with a winner in a Champions League final. It's just like, yeah.
Well, yes, I wasn't going to mention that, but yes.
So if anything, everything he did before just is, clean slate. You're all right, mate.
And there was the guy from Arsenal, Sanchez, from Arsenal to Man United. He was another one.
Yeah, there were a few from Arsenal to United, weren't there? Van Persie.
Van Persie, you're right,
Persie did.
Yeah.
There's been a couple of dodgy top 4 moves.
We don't care about Celtic still come from. Yeah, but this isn't a Leicester show, Thunder. This is just, if you read the description, this is just about football in general. Yeah, we did the Leicester show earlier. Sylvester. Yeah. But yeah, I did have a little laugh to myself, especially as they spent, and thank you very much for the 21 million on Ahmad Manson. I think letting 11 goals in 4 games or something as soon as he went over there. West Ham are up shit creek, aren't they?
Oh, big time. Big time. I don't know why or how it's gone wrong. I really don't get it. Nothing seems to be working. I saw a meme the other day of, I think it's where Tyson Fury's sort of stood there really smug, like, yeah. And you've just got Usyk staring at him from like a side angle. And it says that look at Christmas dinner when Danny Dyer's staring Jared Bowen out. And as soon as I watched it, I thought that's quite funny. I mean, we've seen for quite a few years now that the hopes and prayers of West Ham have been on players like Bowen or Callum Wilson. And it's just, I think they've recruited badly ever since that. They had their chance. Some of their players are now well into their 30s as well. You got Souček. I think they released Soufal at the start of the season. But Bowen's getting towards, towards that 30 mark.
Yeah.
They swapped Callum Wilson for, not Callum Wilson, Mikel Antonio. Sorry, they've brought Callum Wilson in this year and swapped Mikel Antonio. Mikel Antonio for me was probably a better goal scorer than Callum Wilson. I can sit here now, obviously, as a Premier League team and say it's brilliant to watch that at least one team in Claret and Blue is suffering and it's not us for a change. But I quite like West Ham, and I think they seem to be an ever present in the Premier League. I know they have had their years of dropping into Championship, under like a 40-year-old Teddy Sheringham still playing up top and things like that. But yeah, from a managerial perspective, not even Nuno can go in there and turn it round. And this is a bloke who tries and bases teams on a solid defensive structure. If he can't get a solid defensive, tune out of a team that's having to try and fight tooth and nail in this division, it's not looking good. Even at 10 coming up to 10 games.
Have you played West Ham yet this season?
We play Arsenal this weekend, and then we are away at West Ham the weekend after.
If you speak to Jake, do give him my best and say I was laughing.
I'm sure I will. In fact, he messaged me actually after the Leeds game, and what he said? He said something along the lines of, "I'm glad you did that." He was very happy. What a massive winner that is for you boys today. The highs and lows of it all. I expect chaos when you play us in a couple of weeks. We're on the brink of implosion and protests. And do you remember those protests against you a few years back? They won't touch the sides. So apparently it's looking like it's not just on the pitch, it's off the pitch where there's turmoil at West Ham as well.
Yeah, they don't like their owners either, do they? So, Graham Potter, what a shame, Graham Potter. What a shame, West Ham. If you're watching, Jake, you remember he was 14 when we started doing his channel and he was doing ours. He's 18 with a girlfriend now and he's got stubble.
He did. I actually sent him a message on his 18th birthday and I said, you know what, I feel like I'm wishing my younger brother happy birthday. I've watched you grow from a boy to a man.
So Graham Potter, who was linked with Leicester, goes to West Ham, does shit and gets sacked. Russell Martin, who was linked with Leicester, goes to Glasgow Rangers, does shit and gets sacked.
Well, there you go. Positives to look at. It could be worse.
I mean, did he do that bad at Scotland? I don't think he did. I mean, when I'm looking now at Rangers, they've only actually lost one game this season.
I don't know. It's the draws, though. They couldn't see games out. There were a lot of games where they were 1-0 up, 2-0 up, and they chucked them leads away. And I think that's what's probably, they're more damaging. I can understand
they've drawn 6. They've actually drawn more than any other team, but they've won 2. They've, like I say, only lost 1. Celtic have lost 2. In fairness, they've lost more. Russell, I mean, it was a strange choice. I mean, I think he used to play for them.
Yeah, for a period of time. I think when he at the back end of his Southampton career, I think he ended up going to Rangers for a short spell. But he wasn't what the fans wanted.
No.
Yeah, again, neither was Steven Gerrard. The thought of Gerrard going back, a lot of fans were like, "No, the way you sort of dumped us."
I can remember a few New Years ago, Gerard had just been sacked, and I was having New Year around my neighbours, and she'd got her daughter and her daughter's partner around there, and he's a huge Glasgow Rangers fan. And I said, then they were sacking the person who had been there after him or whatever. And I said, oh, would you have Gerard back? He went, not in a month of Sundays.
No,
He said he didn't have any idea what he's doing. The guy that was with him, the assistant manager, who actually then went back and was sacked as well, but he was
that Gary McAllister. It
no,
was someone like no, not.
no, forget who it was. Somebody will tell us in the chat. But
Yeah.
And he said, I would not want Gerard at all. And okay. But, I mean, who, again, this is what I'm saying. Glasgow Rangers must look at that and go, oh, Russell Martin did such a good season last season with
It was Michael Beale.
That was it, Michael Beale. Yeah, because he went back, didn't he? And then, yeah.
Ian Beale's managed to keep a business afloat in for him in EastEnders for a long time. He should have gone there.
But yeah, but no. Why do you go to a guy who's done so shit? And Southampton, I have to say, there was 3 shit teams last year, and we'll come on to that later. But Southampton didn't sleepwalk or didn't just slip down. They collapsed into the back into the championship. They were lucky to actually beat Derby's home, lowest points ever score. And you're thinking, like, you know what? That'll be a good job for a good guy for us. We'll take him on, and he'll do well. I mean, where do they? No other business would you basically ruin a club or ruin the job, the company, and then you walk into another job at a bigger club, technically.
No, I mean, I could look at our own manager who's not had the best of managerial careers. I mean, he has in terms of promotions from the Championship, but his success in the Premier League is non-existent.
But thank you for saving us.
yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, that didn't last long, did it?
No, but it's these managers just seem to find a way back into it. I don't know how. Their agents must have the gift of the gab like no tomorrow.
Yes.
I mean, who else? Who was that other player? I can't remember. There were a player that his agent just always seemed to get him really good clubs, and I don't know how we managed to do it. I can't remember who the player were now.
Cotton Palmer?
Probably.
I don't know. I just think, Russell Martin, I just think, go and do something else. You're not
at the beginning, man. Though. At the beginning of his Southampton career, I think VAR had a bit to play in part of his sacking. I think there were a couple of decisions where VAR had gone against them. But again, you can't really base that on that. That team's still got to turn up for 90 minutes with a certain amount, with a certain tactic, a certain formation, certain ways to break that down. Or if they then go from counter-attacking to the press, they then start playing tiki-taka. You've got to have all these ideas saved up there, all these little mental, sticky notes, etc. Knowing which one I can just pluck and go, yes, this is the one I'll turn to. This is how I can counteract what they're trying to throw at us. And Russell Martin didn't have that. There's a lot of managers that come into this with a plan A, and if plan A doesn't work, do plan A, but better.
Yeah. Look, I'm just saying, we've got a couple of guys in from your channel, some in from mine. If you're watching from the Leicester end, it is Leicester Till I Die TV. if you're watching from the Burnley end, you know, the what we like to call the poor end. Now, if you're watching from Burnley, it's Turf Moorhouse. Is it Turf Moorhouse TV? Is that your full?
Yeah, either way, you'll find it on both.
Yeah. And for those of you that don't know, that when I say anything about Burnley, it's very much tongue in cheek. I lived in Burnley for 20 odd years. All my 4 children were born in Burnley, but I did manage to find the escape route. So
Not one of them's a claret, which is really, really, really.
I know.
upsetting.
And none of them vote Labour either. That was the two things with that. But yeah, so if I joke about Burnley, don't take it personally. I loved it there. Lovely, lovely people. And it was very cheap housing as well. Yeah, I mean, you know, talk Scott Parker briefly, because I mean he gets around, as the Beach Boys would say. And I actually jokingly
The best
said,
people to go on a night out with, I'll tell you that. All right, who's getting these first ones? Get around, I'll get around it, get around. Woo!
"Oh God, help me, Rhonda, please." Anyway, moving on. Well, we've still got an audience. Yeah, I jokingly said, "Thank you for taking one for the rest of the 92 clubs." But in fairness, he has done all right for you. He seems to be able to get the clubs promoted. Keeping them up is another matter. But I believe before you got him, there was a couple of managers you were after. Now, let me see if I can remember who they were.
You know exactly who they were. You know exactly who they were.
Do I? Yeah, let me just say, it is, as Celine Dion said, it's all coming back to me now.
You don't have to think twice for this one, Chris.
Hey! Was it Steve Cooper?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
And then who was it afterwards? Oh.
Don't be rude.
Van Nistelrooy.
It was. The thing is, Steve Cooper bagged us off to go to your place.
He did, and so did Rude, didn't he?
Well, no, Rude was close to the appointment because he was going to come in because Cooper decided no, and then Manchester United offered him a position at their club for a period of time. So it was a shoe-in to a bigger job really for him. And yeah, I'm sort of glad that it's worked out the way it has. I've got to say that, and I'll still hold my hands up. I did not want Scott Parker. I did not want Frank Lampard. I did not want any of those. I wanted Ruud van Nistelrooy. It's funny. It's so funny. But hey,
right, let me tell you this, because
I'm glad I don't make the big decisions.
No. Well, when Enzo shit us, so thank you very much, by the way, Adrian.
It's a good job it says Talk Sport on his app, because the only thing that comes out of his mouth is talk shit. So
fair point. Fair point. My God. Which leads me very nicely into when Enzo did the shit on us and left. And we were being linked with Steve Cooper. I actually said, "I'll take Steve Cooper." I said, you know, he kept Forest up with a points deduction. So, you know, fair play. I wanted Steve Cooper. Not saying he would have kept us up, but I think he would have done a better job than, the Dutch dickhead. Then when he went, my choice was Ruud van Nistelrooy. So, yes, it's a good job I don't make the big decisions either. We're Top's bad enough at making them himself without me. Yes. In fact, yes, hopefully they are Thunder. And then, when we were looking at who might be coming in this season, when we finally, could go into a new PSR year and afford to sack Ruud van Nistelrooy, who would have thought he would have been as shit as he was? Let's be honest. We were linked with Sean Dyche.
Yeah.
Now, you may well remember that you had a certain conversation with a Leicester fan
I did.
who is at the moment is persona non gratis. So
Who I'd just like to also clarify, I have had a nice cushy payout after being able to get him the job at Nottingham Forest, being his agent and all that.
Well, the guy that you argued with, he's kind of disappeared a little bit, but won't go into that. But I would have been quite happy with Sean Dyche because I think he would have got us up.
Yeah, I think that's what I said. I said it at the time that Leicester needed a bit of security. Build from the back to basics. Get the basics right, and then build.
What I liked about him, and in fairness, Marty's come in and Marty has shored us up a little bit at the back. But Sean would have looked at the players that he had, and he'd have looked at that and went, they can't play that system. What's the best system they've got? That's what I'm going to play. It might not be what the fans want, and we know that our players are shit at the 4-2-3-1, but that's what everybody plays these days. By the way, if anybody's got a bonfire on the 5th of November and you want a guy for the top, nip up to the Etihad and get Pep Guardiola on the top, because that guy has wanked off this football in this country so much with his 4-2-3-1. Anyway, sorry, that's just me going off on there. But
Chris, rant away, sir, rant away.
Nobody wanted. I will say, there's not many Leicester fans wanted Sean Dyche, but I wouldn't have minded him, to be honest with you.
No, I think it'd work pretty well. I think you're a club that are built on really good morals as well. Which is why I was questioning. I can understand Dyche going to Forest. He was a former youth player. The majority of his backroom staff that he's worked with are from his Forest days.
He lives in Nottingham.
Yeah, lives in Nottingham. I mean, Kettering's not far from that area where he was born. It's like, it's just, it sits right. The thing that didn't sit right is how is somebody like Sean Dyche going to work with Marinakis? And I actually went on Door's channel when he went in, because he asked for my input on how I think Dyche will do, bleeding youth through, similar to what I did here. I should have just sent him your video so it got more views and watched that. Could have done. But clearly, my son duties just didn't even click. But no, I said to him straight. I said, obviously, I've got nothing but superlatives to say about Sean Dyche. That he did a great job with us, and I think he'll do a cracking job with you. In fact, I think he'll do a better job with Forest, because he doesn't have anyone apart from Chris Wood that basically is relying on ex-Burnley players to bail him out the shit. And he was probably the first father figure that basically made Chris Wood a Premier League striker. That said, I told them that I hope he sucks as much as Ange did, and you go down.
Yeah, nice one, son. This is a weird one, and a lot of people are saying to us, or saying, a lot of Leicester fans are saying we want Marty out, which is totally ridiculous at this early stage. But a lot of the people are also saying that they want Top out, and you could argue that he's not running the club very well. And he hadn't spoken to his chief executive for 2 year. There was a lot of things going on in the background, and I have to say allegedly, because our channel gets listened to. But the other side of the story is that somebody hadn't spoken to John Rudkin. It's all a mess. And they always say, be careful what you wish for. Tune in tomorrow night at 7:00, and we're going to be talking about the ownership. As bad as he is,
watch that film before Ownership Down.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, but he was available.
Bright eyes burning like fire.
I'll fucking burn you. But I'm thinking, how has Marinakis ruined Nottingham Forest, or what? They had a manager there that had got them into Europe. All right, as we were joking earlier, it was a bit of a funny way of doing it. But he got them into the Europa League, and then they sack him after about 5 games.
Yeah, every Forest fan that I've spoken to said that, yeah, Nuno shouldn't have said what he said. He shouldn't have done what he did. And I suppose it goes back to the argument we've had about Brendan that
Well,
you
what did
can't.
he say? Because I don't know this.
So he said things alongst the likes of that I've not been given the bit like the openness of being able to explain how I want things to be. Basically, Marinakis is always sticking his beak on everything and doesn't let me work as a manager. And essentially, that I'm surprised I've been able to manage to do what we've managed to achieve while having somebody sat there constantly ready to poke you with a stick at every 2 minutes you're being watched. So you can't really come out and say all these things and this, that, and the other.
Shouldn't say it in public, should you?
But
No.
then yet again, Marinakis is the one putting himself in that public eye, coming
Yeah.
down onto the pitch at halftime, coming onto the pitch at full time, and make it.
Who were they playing then? Oh yes, it was us.
Yes, it was. It was Leicester. But you know what? The Forest fans seem to love Marinakis. You can't blame them because he's helped them achieve something that they've not had for many years now in terms of bringing European football back. They're an old school club, Forest, and obviously I'm not going to give them as much credit on here. But yeah, I don't like Marinakis. I never have. And I said that on that channel ever since we played Olympiacos in Europe, and he stormed into the referee's room at halftime, allegedly, and told them that they weren't giving any Olympiacos any decisions. And that second half, everything went in Olympiacos' favour. Que sera, sera. So I've always thought you greedy, money grabbing. Yeah, borderline slander. So I'll just shut up.
Greek person.
Yes.
He's a very in-your-face character, isn't he? And it must be difficult as a manager stroke coach when you want players or when you promise things. I mean, look at the guy that's just left Tottenham, their CEO.
Yeah, Daniel Levy.
Daniel Levy. But he always backed his managers, always gave them money to buy players. And with Marinakis, he did support, he got them Forest, he got them back into the Premier League, he got them into Europe, in fairness. But you sometimes look and go at these decisions, as we top at Leicester, thinking like, why are you doing that? I mean, he started the season with Nuno.
Yep.
Got Ange in. And now he's got Sean in. I mean, Ange, he was actually at Forest shorter than Brian Clough was at Leeds United.
That's bad.
Yes.
However, Ange actually drove away from the City ground that night after being sacked with a smile on his face, knowing that he's just been paid out $7 million for a 2-year contract and he's been in there a month. So
I know. It is
to grumble, are you?
No. That's the thing, isn't it? I mean, I remember watching Nigel Pearson.
Get the suitcases out, love.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely. Well, I got I was watching a podcast. It was Sam Allardyce's podcast, and he'd got Nigel Pearson on. And he was basically saying, to paraphrase it, why did you go to Watford? Because you got them out the bottom 3, and then they sacked you. So surely you know what Watford are like, the managers. He went, yeah, but do you know what? I know I'd get my money if I was sacked. He didn't say that in so many words, but that was what, was. And you're thinking, yeah, because you always say, like, why do people keep taking the Watford job? Because they get the fucking money, that's why,
It's easy enough. The thing is with Dash, going back to Dash's appointment there, is that Marinakis has gone for a manager that plays similar style football to Nuno. Now, Nuno will get the plaudits due to the point of he's called Nuno. He's got a foreign name. Oh, we were solid at the back. We managed to get forward. But now, because it's Dash, an English manager playing in a pragmatic way, back to basics, having to play from the back, etc., etc. it's frowned upon, and it shouldn't be.
No.
So that's why I think it will work in Forest's favour in that sense. I think they
I
just
think I think Ange was the wrong appointment.
yeah,
Totally.
because they've
Yeah.
gone from being solid at the back and trying to get forward and counter, which is what they did well the previous season. And I
Yeah.
think Dash will bring that sort of back where Ange was just full on, go out, attack, attack, attack.
Yeah.
And Michael, to answer your question in the chat, Cardiff, obviously we got beat off Cardiff in the cup, and to be fair, we were poor. We didn't really even hit
Funny enough
Cardiff,
asking that
Cardiff
because
levels.
it's the Michael I think it is a Wrexham fan.
Right, well,
Michael, hello again. Nice to see you after last night. Bless him. He stayed. We went through the championship roundup last night, and we just went in the order that it was. I got it off Google, and we waited and waited, and we didn't review the Wrexham game, and it was the last game that came up, and he had to sit through the whole lot. But it was very nice. It was very nice to see you, Michael. You're most welcome. Look, another player. So all those managers had been linked in some way with Leicester. And yet another manager that was linked with Leicester very heavily, Danny Roll.
yes.
Now, I didn't know whether we should appoint him or not. At one point, I thought, well, let's just roll with it.
Hey.
I mean, Sheffield Wednesday, and we'll come on to talk about them next. I mean, they were in such a mess, and he'd been put on gardening leave. Then they'd appointed his assistant as the manager. Then he didn't get the Leicester job, so he went back to Sheffield Wednesday. So they had two managers. Then he was finally sacked, and now he's gone to Glasgow Rangers.
Yeah, I think he's going to need time at Rangers in regards to that appointment. It's not a bad appointment by Rangers either. It's not a bad move for him because if he has a lot of success there, manages to get a fine tune out of them, it could lead to better job prospects. I do believe that he was overachieving at Sheffield Wednesday to a degree. And I know that sounds silly for a team that been in the bottom half of the table, but with all the shit happening off the field, this is a guy who didn't really, look at that as if to say, like, yeah, well, that's your crap. I've got to deal with this and what's happening now. The fact he still managed to get a tune out of, last legs with the retirement centre Barry Bannon in midfield. That bloke's been playing for years. I don't know how he manages it. It's one of those things. I do like Danny Roll as a manager, and my uncle is a Sheffield Wednesday fan, and he's even said that Danny Roll will be a Premier League manager at one point. So I wouldn't have grumbled if Leicester would have gone for him, to be honest.
I mean, everybody wanted him, except I wanted Eden Terzic, to be honest with you. I thought I'm playing safe. I'm not going to name anybody that's going to get it again. So I was happy with Cifuentes. But yeah, the majority wanted Daniel. I think it's a bit of a cop-out because I'm thinking like, well, he can't really fail there because, like you say, Celtic are making a mess of it as well at the moment. You know, Hearts, all right, good luck, and I hope they win it this season, but it'll probably be a one-off season. Yeah, so I think he's gone there. I think it's an easy cop out. He was linked with a couple of German jobs, which he either didn't take or wasn't offered. But let's just go through the managers that have been sacked this year, shall we, already?
Why not?
Derek Adams was the first manager to be sacked for Morecambe, and he'd been there 441 days.
That is actually worth mentioning, Chris. That is actually worth mentioning. I was gobsmacked at that sacking. With all the shit that Morecambe went through, a man like Derek Adams stuck with Morecambe even after after dropping into the non-league. He was also helping out those people employed by the club financially, making sure that their families were fed and things like that. This is a bloke who literally bled red for Morecambe. And Morecambe fans absolutely adore him. Obviously Punjab Warriors came in there and took over after a lot of rigmarole with Jason Whittaker, who massive bell, let's just say that. you know, he kept stuttering with his, you know, with the sale. Took 4 million off him, and then said, "Oh no, I don't want to work with them anymore." It's like, I'm sorry, I don't think it works like that, Jason. You can't take money off someone and then go, "I don't want you anymore."
Yeah.
So I really feel for Derek Adams, because the guy that they've brought in now is so hit and miss. I can't remember his name, but it's Ambar Singh or something like that. His name that has come in, and he's not really done that great.
Loyalty counts for nothing, does it? I mean, Mark Robbins at Coventry. Now, look, it's Coventry, but I would never want to see any club, and that would include Derby, Forest, or Coventry, go out of business, because it's, you know, we nearly went there twice, and it's not nice. So I think, and yet, you know, he saved them. He was with them when they were in the fourth tier, and he dragged them back up. They had no home. They didn't, you know, they weren't allowed to use the stadium because of money they owed. They were playing at Birmingham, I think, one season, Northampton another season. He got them within a spot kick, I think it was, or something of the Premier League. He nearly got them to the FA Cup, beating, you know, Man United. One bad season, they sack him. But then again, maybe that was a good decision, because look at Frank Lampard. He's doing all right, isn't he?
Yeah, but then you could look at Chris Wilder, Sheffield United, loyalty.
We'll come on to him at the moment.
I was going to say, when you talk about loyalty, that's a guy who will constantly always take over there.
Yes, I mean, he loves that club, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's his club, essentially.
Yeah. The second manager was to be sat was Nuno Santo, and he'd been at Forest 628 days. Then, here we go, Ruben Selles at Sheffield United. He'd been there 88 days. Mike Dobbs, Wycombe Wanderers, 228 days. Michael Flynn, Cheltenham Town, no idea, 477 days. Graham Potter, West Ham, 261 days. Steve Bruce at Blackpool, 396 days. I did feel a bit bad because I think his son had died and he'd had time off for that. And
it was not his son; it was his. I think it was his son's
nephew or something.
His son's his grandson or something like that. Weren't it? Steve Bruce's grandson.
Yeah. So, you know, all the best, Steve. Luton Town's Matt Bloomfield, 265 days. Here we go. Paolo Pelleziano, Watford. Actually lasted 148 days. Good God, you get a gold watch for that. Watford. Ange Postecoglou, Nottingham Forest, 39 days. I mean, it's a joke, isn't it? It really is. Noel, I'm going to jump to number 12. Noel Hunt at Reading, 324 days. But the one I've got to go on, and I'll keep going back to this guy, if we say that Chris Wilder goes back to Sheffield United a lot, talk about a guy who's got his braces trapped in the door and can't get away from the club and keeps going back. Darren Ferguson at Peterborough United.
Yeah.
Four times I think he's been there. 1,025 days this time, and they've sacked him.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad at Peterborough at the moment. Again, it's another situation though where boardroom. A lot of fans are at unrest with the boardroom. They're not happy with investment. They're not happy with the fact that he's not been backed. Again, they love Darren Ferguson. He's done some wonderful things, but sometimes you can't always go backwards. You've got to think forwards.
But I'll give him a couple of managers, and he'll probably be back there. Talking of which, we were all saying, I mean, when Leicester got knocked out of the playoff semi-finals against Watford with the last kick in the last minute, two things were going to happen. We were either going to completely bollocks it up the next season, or we were going to use it to our advantage. That was the season we went up with you, and Chris Wood scored against you. It came, I think, it came off as well. Yeah, it was. I was there. I was the only person jumping up and cheering.
From the disabled section as well, may I add, just in case people are watching.
No. I was in the. I was a guest of the Burnley Express where I used to work, And I was
I had to
coming
try
up.
and work out who you were saying then, the actual newspaper or James Anderson, the cricketer, had invited you along.
Fair play, fair play. Yeah, I used to work there, and it was my birthday when they were playing, and I was coming up back
Nice.
up to Burnley to see a few people, and you suddenly then realise that everybody else has moved on and they don't even know who you are, sort of thing. But Janet, lovely woman, Janet Fallon, she's now left the paper, but she worked there, and she basically taxed me about all the whole thing. She said, "Oh, have you got your ticket yet?" I said, "No, I'm going to try and get one," sort of thing. I don't think I'll get one for Leicester. I'll have to sit in the Burnley end. She said, "Oh no, if you're not got a ticket, come and join us on our table because they have a table."
Yeah.
So of course I was sat there. I think we won 2-0, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. And every time I'm like, you forget, and you're just getting into this game. And we were on a roll that season, and I just went, yeah, and you could feel everybody. And I think, oh, still did it again the next time. But yeah,
that was before our paths had crossed again.
Yeah, indeed.
Before you realised you had an illegitimate son over over the Pennines.
I'm going to say all I'll say is, you are the result of me nipping off to the sperm donor shop. When I realised it was, for Mrs. Riley, when I realised that, and they said, "Oh, you can send it through the post," I just came in a jiffy.
Oh, I knew that would come in. I knew it.
You knew it.
No, I should not have said the word coming as well there. No.
Yes.
God's sake.
But
Why?
We're back. The two Ronnies are back.
The two Johnnies.
Yeah, that's more like it, with a hole in. But the thing was, we basically broke all our club records that season. Absolutely unbelievable season. Sheffield United, having missed out to Sunderland in the playoff final, having been second for so long as well, absolutely sacked Chris Wilder. Why? Now, I don't know if you remember when he had his first game back this time, because it was his third time back, and everybody and I was saying Chris Wilder will be going back there soon, because they were awful, Sheffield United, at the start of the season, and still are in some games. And when they had the first game, and his first game at home, I mean, the crowd were going mad. The Kleenexes were out, and for down there, not up there. And Chris Wilder walked out surrounded by a bevy of naked ladies throwing rose petals on the ground in front of him. Don't know if you saw that on the news.
No, God.
Well, I tell you what, it didn't happen, but you should have fucking asked for it, because going down there the third time after being sacked, that is what I would have demanded. You want me back? This is what you got to do. But yeah, he does love that.
He does. He's Sheffield United through and through, and can't fault him. I mean, there were once where where was he managing Middlesbrough? I think he was managing Middlesbrough at the time, and he was linked with our job, and he actually came in and said that he wouldn't mind it, and then it never came off for him, and he backhandedly said it while still managing somebody else, and it curtailed for him at that club, but he ended up going back to Sheffield United, and que sera.
Yeah. Thunder Dubs, good luck with the missus.
All the best.
Yeah, I hope she doesn't punish you too much. And yeah, it's a merry. You said, didn't you? It's a merry-go-round. It really is. Where do you think Andrew's going to end up?
I was depending on how things go at Celtic. Could spell a return there.
I've seen a lot of Celtic fans on social media saying, "Bring him back."
Yeah,
want you back for good. Whatever I say, whatever I do.
I don't think that'd wash if Brendan said that. Whatever I said, yeah, he's shit, mate. Keep that shut.
That is Gary Barlow. I'm Robbie Williams.
That's because you can dance and I can't.
And I can't sing, but you can. I think that would. Well, look, it would be quite a good fit.
Yeah.
And it's whether Ange wants to go back. Thing is, when you're going to go back to Celtic or Rangers, the chances are you're going to win something at some point if you give it there a few years, you know. So we will see. We will see. A couple of things. I want to talk Sheffield Wednesday now. I hadn't realised Chansiri had been there 10 years.
Yeah.
When he first went in, and look, everybody's saying with the EFL, or don't they vet these owners and all this, that, and the other. When he first went in there, they got to the playoff final.
Yeah.
And they lost out to Hull, who went on to beat us in the opening year of the season, and we were champions, and they beat us. So thanks, Sheffield Wednesday. It all kind of went downhill from there on. You look at Leicester and how we did well with, the King Power, and you could say it's starting to go downhill for us now. But he did the shit on that club, didn't he? I mean, years ago, I suppose they could afford it, but the Players' Union used to pay wages to any player that wasn't getting paid by a club.
Yeah, I don't know whatever happened to that. I'm surprised that was not something that still came about. But then yet again, I think that could be what has been replaced with this fit and proper testing. That again, it's one of them that if you're fit and proper, then you should have the funds to do that, but you shouldn't have to be bailed out the shit by other.
That could be our group name, Fit and Proper. Ladies and gentlemen, number one this week. Welcome on stage, Fit and Proper. I've lost it.
As long as it's not Ryan Haley Cropper, then I'm all right.
Hey, don't you be knocking Mr. Cropper, you. He's a Leicester fan. And there's a great picture of him, and I don't know who we were playing, of him singing in the crowd. He was joining in with, we must have been down, and I think it was Southampton we were playing last season. 2-0 up, and you fucked it up. And the crowd was singing it, and there's that video. Yeah, going on. Yeah. And I mean, that's the problem, though. You know, if the club the company that bought us is not the company that is now King Power. We are not owned by King Power anymore. We are owned by Top and his family. No, I'm not going to attempt to pronounce his surname. King Power, he doesn't, he's not even, he's brought somebody in to help run King Power. He stepped down. So it's a completely different scenario. They would have passed the fit and proper test years ago. But now, and I think that was the thing with Chansiri as well.
Yeah, Chansiri obviously just does not have the finances 10 years down the line to have that stability. I'll go back to something that my own chairman said. Alan Pace said the other day at a fan forum. And you
don't know Alan Pace, do you?
Yes.
You don't talk to Alan Pace, do you?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, friend, football friend.
I knew that would come in. I knew. No, but he's the sort of person, he actually said that in football, people seem to think that owners come in and they can just, oh yeah, £200 on this, 200 million on that, whatever. How you doing, Mark? Hope you're well. And then he said one of those things with owners is, how do you become a millionaire as a football owner? Well, you start as a billionaire and then you buy a football club.
Yes.
And that's how you become a millionaire.
Yes.
It's not a money-making business. That's what the fit and proper test needs to be doing, which is obviously, it needs to be looking at the trajectory of how do you see things looking in the next 10 years, the next 15 years. Let's look at the trajectory of how these clubs are going to be under you're coming in essentially to be the long-term custodian.
Yeah.
Chansiri's had his chance. I think it was under Carlos Carvajal where they nearly achieved, going back to the Premier League.
Yeah.
And they had those little spells, but it's just turned so sour. I mean, I was reading today something along the lines of that when it came about that the administrators had come in and he asked, can I put a statement out? Can I put a goodbye statement out on the website? The club went, fuck off. Come on.
Yes.
I'm sorry, you're here, clear your office. Admin
Yeah.
have said get out. That's it.
Yeah.
Like Chansiri's face, probably in blacked out windows of a car, driving past everybody, buying Sheffield Wednesday shirts,
They
buying
were.
the
Yeah.
tickets for the
They've gone
next
back,
game.
haven't they? And I love the fact that they took his name off the seat.
Chansiri out the seats.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know
And
what?
I've
I
got to
even felt like I had a club back, and I don't support the Bombers. But I had a soft spot for him in that sense.
Yes, I think not just this season. I've liked them for a while,
Yeah.
and I've got to say, hats off to the people in the social media department at Sheffield Wednesday, because that thing that they put out on the screens on that
pre-match video
day,
was quality.
But Mike. By God, you're a dad. I remember you sending a picture of your little spermy thing in the thing. Well, it was probably a picture of my child. They all look the same, don't they? But no, congratulations, Mike. I didn't think you got it in you. The only
You didn't. You got it in someone else.
Hey, I was watching earlier. I found a link to all my shorts, and do you remember the old thing about Ronaldo being so good with charities at Man United? The old fishing. Oh, God. Yes. Hi, Mike. Yeah. No, this is going to sound a bit silly, but for years and years and years, I worked in the travel industry.
Yeah.
I had a great time, gave me lots of holidays. I've been all over the world, very, very cheap, and all over the world with
Foreign Airlines.
on working holidays.
I was going to say we've got our own airlines to contend with, let alone anything.
And there was a time in the 80s and 90s when a lot of companies had expanded too quickly and were going out of business. I mean, they still are kind of now, but they that's what I'm looking for. But it went to I think there was a depression going on and what have you. Anybody that was on a holiday that had booked through a company that was registered with ABTA, Association of British Travel Agents, they all got a return flight home. If you'd booked the holiday and not gone, you got your money back. That was the ABTA guarantee. And that was paid for by all the travel companies, depending on the size of the company and how many people they took on, putting a bond into ABTA.
Yeah.
So that when that company went bust, there was the money there to get the passengers home. You didn't book through a travel agent and you booked direct, or you didn't put on a credit card. A little bit more difficult, but that's how it works. So why not get football clubs to put a bond up?
Yeah.
That if that company then gets into trouble, sorry, I've just been put off by Anthony.
Yeah, it's his profile picture. It does that to you.
Yeah. But I just think, why don't they put a bond up so that if they can't then keep payments up, or there's any problem, the money's there to pay staff wages. All right, don't pay footballers the big bucks, because you've got to think about the cleaners and all them as well. But give them something so that they can at least live.
Yeah, it should be. I mean, you do it with a house, don't you? You pay, 2 months rent up front, etc., and things like that. So why aren't they doing that with football clubs as a collateral? Nobody wants to see them putting up. They do it. These football clubs take out loans. You've got that.
Yeah.
Is it Chris Maguire guy on Twitter that's always looking at You know, the
Kieran Maguire.
that's it. Yeah.
Friend of the channel, I may say.
Chris Maguire used to play at Sheffield United, so
Oh, well.
and then Harry Maguire, well, he's just got a massive head.
Yeah, but he was replaced by Soyuncu, who's got a massive cock. For the Leicester fans still watching who remembers that song, we don't need you. I can't remember the words, but sometimes we don't need you, Harry Maguire. We've got Soyuncu, and he's got a massive cock, or words to that effect. Only football fans. But he's gone. Good luck to them. They've got 4 or 5 bids coming in, apparently. So yeah. Right. I've got a very interesting topic, and we will come to that in a second. I've just got to have, as they say, a few words from our sponsor, though. Listen up, Leicester fans. Don't miss Leicester City take on Blackburn Rovers this weekend, live on Sky Sports with Now. Can Leicester City turn around their recent poor form against the struggling Blackburn side and return to winning ways? You can catch all the action live on Sky Sports with a Now membership. So if you don't want to miss a moment of the build-up and match, you can stream Sky Sports on Now flexibly, like Leicester City versus Blackburn Rovers this weekend. Search nowtv.com. And we will be back in a second. I have to say these things because I've got to pay, maintenance for the bugger that's on the next screen next to me. Hey, don't knock it. It kicks the wolf from the door. But interesting then. This is the next topic I'd like to go on to.
Hope you're well, Ducky, by the way.
When you look at it this season, the 3 promoted teams, none of them are in the bottom 3.
Yes.
I don't know who's the bottom of the 3 teams that have gone up, but none of them are in the bottom 3. The 3 teams that have got relegated, none of them are in the top 3.
Yeah.
Now, the last 2 seasons, obviously the 3 that came up, and you'll remember this from 2 seasons ago, the 3 that came up came down. Now, I must admit, I said I thought Leeds would do better because they had that extra season.
Yeah.
Nobody expected Sunderland, to do what they're doing. I mean, they are just having an amazing. They came up via the playoffs, so you immediately think they're going to struggle. Nobody expected it.
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
And,
You've got a video for everything.
Oh, I do. And some of them I can't show.
You're even quoting ABBA now.
Well, the winner does take it all, mate.
Just like Sheffield Wednesday, every cloud has a high or silver lining.
Hey. But look, what are you doing different? Because I've got to say, the 3 that went down last season, including Leicester, deserved to go down. They were fucking awful last season. But you none of you say, none of the 3 of you. What's gone wrong? What are you doing that we didn't do?
I don't know, because obviously for the last couple of seasons, all it's been is that each team that's come up has suffered, and pundits and everybody else like-minded always just seem to say that there's a golfing class in the division. We did it under Vincent Kompany. We bought some really good players, but it just didn't work. Ipswich did the same thing. Spent a lot of money to try and compete. It didn't work. Southampton shared up loan players, etc., etc. The list goes on. It didn't work. And obviously, yourself regarding Leicester, just but it's like obviously I'm not going to dig it up. Trust me, you've buried that shovel.
I have spent lots of money and lots of hours in the psychiatrist chair to get over last season.
But no, it's I honestly cannot put a finger on how teams this year have managed to find a way. Maybe it's just one of those years where other teams around us are shit.
Well, I could say we could have done with Wolves and West Ham last season, but I've got to say well done to all three of you, because I think if the three that have gone up had come back down again, I mean, I would say in our defence that losing your manager a week after getting promoted wasn't the best thing, especially when he took all his backroom staff with him, bastard.
And 2 or 3 players.
Yes. I mean, it's interesting that, we needed £40 million. We were £40 million in hock to PSR. We got 10 million for Enzo, and we got 30 million for Kieran Dewsbury Hall. Now, Kieran Dewsbury Hall signed a 6-year contract at Chelsea.
Yeah.
Which means basically towards PSR, it was 5 million a year. We bought Matthew Golding, we've never seen him since, for 5 million from Chelsea, which meant for that first season, Kieran Dewsbury Hall didn't cost them a penny apart from wages. And then they went and sold him on to Everton. I mean, there's something not right there, isn't there? But look, I could argue, and we were hanging about waiting for, Harry Potter to decide whether he wanted to come or not. And, we were going around, I think Top was sort of camping outside his house, and we ended up with Steve Cooper, completely different style of play and everything. So, but I'll put that up as in our defence. This season, are you surprised that, I'm surprised that Ipswich aren't top, because they were the ones that had bought. I mean, Steve Cooper went out and bought older players because he wanted experience. Kieran Maguire, is it not? Kieran McKenna. He went out and bought youngsters that had been in the Championship.
Yeah.
I thought, they've gone back down, they're going to be top. I mean, Ipswich are below us, got a game in hand, I grant you. Southampton are like way down, as Elvis Presley would sing. That surprised you as well?
Yeah, I expected better performances from the 3 that went down. I think Leicester is a rebuild project in a sense after coming down. I think you're now looking at trying to bleed that youth system through, and potentially look down a different avenue. Southampton have kept a bulk of that squad that came down and still not paid off.
No.
And Ipswich, again, I thought they actually bought pretty well. I mean, apart from the players they bought from us, I mean, Dara O'Shea was a good signing for them because he was a standout for us. I think he got their player of the year in a shit season in the Premier League. Muric was dodgy as hell. I'm glad we got the money for him. But again, they signed players that, Sammy Smodzic from Blackburn, who was, firing on all cylinders, even though his age was against him, firing on all cylinders at them lot. And, it was good to see them dry up after that. I think the Championship is such a tough division now. And, we've said it numerous times that the team, you only have to look down at League One and League Two and the calibre of teams that are in and around those divisions now that used to be, big high-end names trying to push themselves back into the Premier League. It's madness. This is why we love football, though. There's trials and tribulations, there's turns, there's ups and downs. The Championship for me is a way better league than the Premier League for competitiveness, for the fact that you can actually celebrate when the ball hits the back of the net.
I don't know that much because we don't score that many goals. But look at the prediction league. I mean, I'm dropping down quicker than the Bryce Nickers on the wedding.
I don't even know where I am, to be fair, Chris.
You are mid-table. mid-table mediocrity.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I would do, because I'm second from bottom, and the guy that's below me only joined after the second week, so I'm just absolutely shit at it. Only we have two, because we only do 6 games, as you know. We call it Super 6, But when I do the prediction show with Josh, I don't know whether we did it when you were on, but we do the other 6, and we called it, because we were talking about Barry Fry and talking about people that were in and out of trouble at the time.
Yeah.
And we thought, sorry, Barry. If anybody knows Barry, please get him to come on the channel. It'd make us laugh so much.
He is funny. He's a funny guy.
Yeah, we named it the Barry Fry Memorial Trophy. Then while we were talking about it, I went, he's still alive. We've had to now call it the Not Yet Memorial Barry Fry Trophy, or the Barry Fry Not Yet Memorial Trophy. But look, I've got to say, look, I say all credit. I mean, look, Sunderland, what the fuck are they doing?
You know what? I've got to give them. I've got to give them their fruits.
Yeah.
They've come up. They've come up, and I probably amongst every other fan wrote them off because the way they came up was very. They just managed it. They just managed to go up. In that championship season, they were in the playoffs and not doing very well, but they'd already accumulated that many points at the start that they were still in and around that area. Maybe that's what they're going to do again this year. They've started off very, very well, and they're going to end up finishing in that probably between top 7 and 10 finish in bracket. But
sorry, carry on.
So no, but the one thing I want to add is they've got that extra incentive. It's been a couple of years that they've been away from playing their rivals. They now get that back again, having that 2 games against them. And how funny is it that Newcastle have been chasing and spending money to try and get a Premier League, and Sunderland be the next team to potentially do a Leicester? You know, it's. I wouldn't mind it. I think it'd be quite.
I wouldn't mind any. I mean, we did it first, so that'll always be the greatest story.
So there.
yeah, exactly. And we did it after being bottom of the league for longer than any other team as well. And I don't think Sunderland are 5,000 to 1 to win it. But all joking aside, Newcastle, in fairness, they've stuck to PSR, and I think that's what has done them. You know, Chelsea don't. We know that allegedly. Man City allegedly. But Newcastle haven't, and that's why it is. But you look at the Championship, you got Birmingham and Wrexham who spend money and fair play to them if they can afford to and they sit within the rules. Charlton, who came up by the playoffs, every pundit's favourite, it was in the bottom 3. They're sat in 6th as well. You know, it's like what?
I don't get it. I really don't get it. My prediction for the Championship table is something else. I'm just looking at.
Did we do a show this year on it?
I'm not sure if we did. I'm not entirely sure. I'm just trying to have a look at that Championship table now. But again, it's teams like Preston up and around it. Hull. See, last season, Hull and QPR in 8th and 9th.
Yeah.
We're battling it out for safety and survival.
I mean, Preston will probably fall away because they always
yeah. They're always the Preston are the Arsenal of the Championship. They're the bridesmaid, aren't they, all the time?
Yeah. Hi, Anthony.
I forgot you were in.
I thought you had. I still love the fact that when you go on Google Maps and look at the Emirates, they've got one of those time capsules. They've got all the trophies in it, I think. But look, Frank Lampard at Coventry, you know what I mean? They've scored 34 goals. All right, 7 came in one game, 5 came in another game. But even so, I mean, fair play. They've not lost yet this season.
No.
So fair play to them. But very, very quickly before we move on, Leicester, we're going to get, looks like we're going to get a points deduction.
Do you know when that's coming about? Do you know? Is it going to be?
We think it will probably be November because that's when Forest and Everton got theirs. We would have had it by now, but allegedly, and I have to say allegedly again, there was a delay in sending off the accounts.
Mm-hmm.
And because we missed that, then that's now taken into consideration. In the summer, we sold a lot of. We got 80 odd million quid in the summer somehow with the shit players that we had, and we didn't spend any money. The 4 players we got in, 2 goalkeepers on a free. We got Ramsey from you on loan, Carranza on loan, and Jordan James is brilliant on loan. Carranza and James are both with an option to buy.
James were linked to us last year as well.
Oh, he's bloody good. He really is. Of course, he wants to, and he's saying all the right things. He wants to come to us, but he's a Birmingham lad, so it's only just down the road. In fairness to him,
Yeah,
and it's not going well for him in France. I think it is. So we hope that unfortunately doesn't fit into the PSR rate. That let's just get it done, Blue. You're quite right. I'm so pissed off with it going on. But all this money that we've sort of brought in and not spent is not for that current period, if you like. But what we're hoping is that the EFL will look at it and go, yeah, fair enough. You brought 80 odd million in and you've not spent anything. You got a lot rid of, like the Cody's on high, 75 grand a week. You still got Winks, but you got rid of a lot of those play on the high wages as well. So hopefully they'll look at that and going, yes, you're trying to get your hands in order
to get out of it.
Yeah, we still, I think, are going to get it. But like Blue says, I mean, every bloody start of every season, we get out of it. We're in the Premier League now, we're in the AFL, so you can't do us Premier League. I mean, they're not, they're gunning for us because they didn't like the fact that we showed up the rules that were badly written, And as Kieran Maguire said, people said, oh, you got out through a loophole. Kieran Maguire said, and that's Stephen Boren as well. Is it Stephen Boren? Well, whoever the lawyer is anyway that got us off. He goes, there are no loopholes in the law. There's just badly written laws. It's going to come. I don't think we're going to go back up this season. And in fairness to Marty Cifuentes, for us, we've got... look, we had a shit team last season. They were shit. Absolutely. They were the shittest team we've probably had since Frank McClintock, and that's going back a few years. We were awful.
Good few years.
Yes, we were absolutely. I mean, I'm going back to the late 70s when he took over from Jimmy Bloomfield. I think let's just pay it. Let's just take it on the chin and get it over with. Because if we fight it again and find another loophole, then we'll be in. We'll have to do it again next season. Yeah. The Blue Fox is quite right. Hi, Georgie, how you doing? The dreaded point deduction. Let's just get it out the way and get it done. I mean, to say we had this awful team last season, and I went off on one then and forgot what I was going to say. I've remembered now. We were awful last season, so we got this pile of shit that call a group of players, and we sold the best shit. I mean, the price. I mean, fair play to John Rudkin. Now he got 8 million for James Justin, and he got 2 million for Connor Cody when he wanted to go to Rangers on a free, and we got 2 million. So well done, John Rudkin. He got that, and of course, unfortunately, that left Marty with the shit. If you get me. So and of course,
trying to separate clay and mud, isn't it? It's a bit.
Yeah, but well done to, Aaron Ramsey we love. Unfortunately, he's done his hamstring, which apparently they usually do after they've had an ACL, which I think...
Yeah.
I think your guys would have been saying, because he was dropped the other week, and he just scored the goal. He scored the win. Well, a goal. It wasn't the winning goal. And then he was dropped. But I think what your club would have probably said to us is, don't play him midweek.
Don't rush him into it,
Yeah, which is fair enough. Fair enough. So yeah, I don't think we're going to come up, and I don't know if we'll have money in January. We've got this golden generation of youngsters, whether we use it or not. Now, Burnley, look, you've gone up. You got the bin man in charge, which is what Bournemouth call him. You sat there, in fairness, in sixth. You're 5 points off the relegation zone. I know it's a long season. We're actually into our second quarter of our season now already.
Isn't it?
Have you got money to spend in January? Will you spend money in January?
Yeah, I think Alan Pace has said that.
Who
A lot
friends?
a lot of fans seem to think that they're asking these questions. Turf Moor's falling down. It's not. It's not Old Trafford. I mean, it does look old, but it's not falling down.
Yeah.
And we are going to need to modernise it as time goes on. But for the moment, the priority is making sure that money is out there on the pitch. And if we can get that right on the pitch, that gives us stability in the top division where money is constantly circulating through this division. That's, for me now, the Premier League, that's all it's about. It's about making sure that you can sustain yourself as a Premier League club and making a constant revenue. Something that I'd like to have on my channel. So if anyone wants to follow me, please do. And then I can go full time.
Yeah, look, fans. Look, Dan's, like I say, he is my illegitimate son from a sperm donation. Please do go and support him. I know. Hello, Mrs. Riley. But yeah, Leicester fans, get over to Turf Moorhouse TV and give it a sub. And Burnley fans, come over to LTID TV and give us a sub. We're going to be doing this hopefully regularly. Look, we've always got on, haven't we? We've had a laugh and a joke. We take the piss out of each other. Two boldies. If you wonder why we're both wearing caps, well, the clue's there.
Yeah, although Chris wouldn't let me add it on that picture.
But yeah, show us your support, guys. I, for one, will always wear it. So, I mean, what do you hope for the season?
Again, it'll just always be what it'll be when you've just come up, which is 17th and above. You can't take anything for granted.
No.
Like I say, look at the season that Sunderland are having. They've had 2 losses all season. One of those losses were to us. So we are trying to beat those teams in and around us. We've done the same with Leeds now, the same with Wolves. If we can keep it, we have played 5 of the top 8 already. We've now got Arsenal this week, then away at West Ham, then Chelsea at home. We've took Manchester United and Liverpool to 90 plus something minutes before ended up, conceding 2 very, very late penalties.
Yeah.
The fight, the endeavour, the energy of these players that we've got right now, it seems to be working for Parker. And I'm not worried right now. I'm really not worried. I do believe that we have enough about us. And I looked actually today at our fixtures towards the back end of the season. Our last game of the season is at home to Wolves. That could be huge.
Yes. Thank you. It is. You think this is my microphone?
Shave it, will you, Chris? Shave it.
Where's it gone? There it is. I want to talk of PSR, and I do want to just sort of. You all right, Val? About phase.
I remember when we had a Vout, none of us liked him, so he buggered off back to Holland.
Yes, he was a national player as well, wasn't he? That's my Vout.
So was Austin Powers, but he weren't good at football.
That's my Vout phase wig. I can't wear it for more than 2 minutes. It makes me. I'm sweating my balls off if I wear that. And if Vout phase ever does leave the club, I'm gonna dye it black and say it's my Hamza Chowdhury wig. Any point in the stuff. But no, talking about PSR.
Like your Tiger Strap 90 when you pretend to be Mel B.
That's what's. Yes. You don't know what I'm wearing underneath there, do you? And down.
Come on, Chris, tell me what you want, what you really, really want.
Oh,
Chris,
God,
slam
I'm
your body
missing.
down and give me that zig-a-zig. Ah.
I didn't realise you were a Spice Girls fan as well as a Nest Club 7 fan.
Oh, bit of it all. Throw Atomic Kitten in there. Sod it. All Saints. Why not? Let's go for it.
Oh, no, I liked Atomic Kitten, but yes, we do know that you were a huge. Was it? I know it was S Club. Was it S Club 7?
Yeah, I had an S Club 7 CD, but I was a huge Spice Girls fan. I actually had Spice Girls wallpaper, and I am not ashamed to say it. Not ashamed to say it.
You were just making note at the time. 150.
Chris, I am not ashamed. I'm not ashamed of
You
that.
should be.
No, definitely not.
I
Definitely
mean,
not.
I'm going to say the Man United pajamas. All right, you were young, you were a child. The S Club 7. Yeah, I kind of get it. Spice Girls, I don't get that at all.
Yeah, no, that was before. There was no
Katie, has he spiced your life up though, Katie? That's the question.
They spice up your laugh, and then there's bane of a laugh. Try and work out which one I am.
Oh, but then when you met Kate, two became one.
Oh, they did.
Yes.
They did.
Stop right there. You should be ashamed of the duvet, curtains, and wallpaper,
There
Daniel.
was no duvet and curtains. It was just wallpaper.
Hey, and don't mention the rubber plant in the corner. We won't go there again.
I actually had
I've missed you, Kate.
my room was like a plethora of different things. I think I had Spice Girls wallpaper. I had a Simpsons like water tank that you like, for a drinks tank, and it had like the fish in from Simpsons with 3 eyes. So I
I
had
get that.
that.
Simpsons. That's fine. Yes.
I had a snooker table that turned into a little football table underneath it, and it just, I tried to have a bit of everything.
Talking of which, Kate's still here.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'll take that. After you just told me that I should be ashamed of the duvet curtains and wallpaper.
What were we talking about? I forgot.
Oh, we went off as normal, didn't we?
Yes.
It was something to do with
PSR.
that round thing, football, weren't it? That's it.
That's it. Yes. Don't talk about Kate like that when she's
Not
in.
the head-shaped one. I'm not talking about my head.
Burnley suing Everton.
Mm.
I thought that had kind of gone away, but it's reared its head again.
Again, my good old football friend Alan Pace. It's him that's chasing this more than anybody, and I do not. I looking at what I've sort of seen, I don't blame him for doing what he's doing. Everton were given the points the season after, not the same season that the actual incident occurred. So they were going to receive 10 points. It ended up being deducted to 6, and obviously they were only 4 points above us at the end of the season. So technically, Everton should have been relegated and we should have stayed up. So we've sued them for damages. Now, I don't know that. I started to think maybe that's why Liverpool and Manchester United got last-minute penalties, because the Premier League are getting pissed off with us. But no, it's look, it's football. I did watch I came across an Everton sort of clip online where they said Burnley haven't got a leg to stand on, etc., etc. But it depends how the Premier League view it. Alan Pace seems to think we've got a very good case, and if we get 50 million off them, we get 50 million off them.
I'm just wondering if you do win that, because obviously we had problems with Everton as well.
Well, that's another thing. That does it then stem to yourself and Leeds?
Well, it's a bit awkward with our record with PSR.
Yeah, you almost can't. You can't bite the hand that feeds you at the moment. You're a little bit stuck for choice.
Yes. And Kate's saying, yeah, you should be ashamed, but that's nothing to do with me. We were separate from your Spice Girls, a separate obsession.
See, this is the thing with Kate, though. She looks like Posh Spice, but she's from the same area as Mel B. So get it up, yeah.
Can I just actually? I think we've got a live link to Kate. Kate, are you there? Are you there, Kate? Can you come in?
I'm loving it.
I don't know what to say. What was it that guy said in darts? I can't speak. I'm going to sit here now, Chris, and I'm going to enjoy my Scarborough fudge.
You enjoy it. I was going to say, I'm going to sit here now and enjoy myself thinking of that video. Oh, yeah. Anyway, anybody that's watching, Kate is obviously a very, very nice Yorkshire lass. Going to end with this one, and it will be interesting to see what happens with that. I mean, like I say, it's a completely cocked up, this PSR and whatever it was before and all that.
But it goes back to what you said earlier, Chris, as well, about how the laws of the game and everything is flawed. How many clubs found loopholes and ways of means of...
Well, look at that thing with us.
Their own flaming women's team to themselves.
Yeah. And look at that when we did it with Chelsea, and we got the 40 million. We buying Kieran Dewsbury Hall was part of the deal. That he can have, yes, he's got a £10 million clause in his contract or whatever, but if you want him, you got to buy Kieran Dewsbury Hall, 40 million for the lot, and it solves our solves our PSR. It's so dodgy. It is so dodgy. But tell me, you're in the Premier League. What's happened to Liverpool?
Again, a team that started the season well. Well, I say started the season well.
Yes.
For 89 minutes they didn't, but the last 5 minutes of games they seem to grab winners. They start to be a bit of a trend of that, where they keep getting last-minute gasp goals that turn games on their head, and it's only recently that they clearly can't seem to get that. And
all games they've lost. I mean, that's more than they lost all last season, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. How do you turn winners into losers?
Normally you would employ the guy that went to Sheffield United.
Yeah, Ruben Sellers.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Names that start with Rue seem to have a bit of a trend.
Yes, tell me about it. But I mean, look, I'm going to upset any Liverpool fans that are watching now.
Oh, I would go for it.
For anyone interested and unlikely, I have never lived in Yorkshire. Not that I hate Yorkshire, I actually really like Yorkshire. Of course you do. You always like your homeland. Much prettier than Lancashire for the most part, but never lived there. Where was she born?
Steeton.
Is that in Yorkshire?
Oh yeah, it's just outside of the district of Bradford.
No wonder she moved then. But I'm still thinking of that video. But yeah, how do you turn what was a dominant Leicester? Dominant Liverpool side. I mean, I never got the thing with Klopp. Take away that one season when they literally won everything, and he did. I'm sure if they'd entered the egg and spoon race, they'd have won that as well. But apart from that, what the hell did Klopp do, really? Nothing,
No.
But, I mean, he made up for that in that one season. This guy's come in, but 4 losses on a trot. There's something going wrong at Liverpool, isn't there?
There is. And I start off with looking to the right-hand side. Mo Salah is not doing anything. You look at the last Liverpool game, they actually got a decent result. I think it was in the Champions League?
Yeah.
And again, that's because Mo Salah was on the bench. So he's not performing at all. I know he's in his 30s now, and a lot of people are saying, is he going to stay? Is he not? Etc. Etc. But he's not the player he once were. Liverpool relied on the goals of someone like that. When you look at their attackers, they didn't really have that out and out striker. Darwin Núñez wasn't scoring for fun. Cody Gakpo wasn't scoring for fun. It was all Mo Salah bailing them out the shit. And now that Salah's goals dried up, Liverpool have dried up.
Yeah.
It's just the docks that are wet. Everything else in Liverpool's dry as a bone.
I mean, can you see them retaining? We've seen Manchester City come back from positions like that, haven't we?
Yeah, but this is the perfect time for Liverpool to sort of insert a dominance. Manchester City are trying to be in a transition. Kate, you really are just. You've took the spoon. And you've well and truly just gone, I need to defend myself so much.
I wish I'd never. I think the lady just protests too much, as they say.
Yeah. I think she's trying to clearly tell us.
I think we've got another mic here.
Yeah, she's well and truly bitten. Well and truly bitten.
She has.
But yeah, they've just. It's just not. This was the perfect time for them. Like I say, City are in transition. Pep's trying to rebuild something again there, and Liverpool already had it ready made. They've made they've spent a lot of money. Florian Wirtz, 100 and something million. Some shit Swedish striker from Newcastle that, again, Liverpool players are probably looking down the backs of their sofas for receipts for.
Yeah,
it's just not working. I don't know what it is, but I can't see Slot being sacked. It's not something Liverpool do.
No, and he'll be given the season at least.
Yeah, I think he will, and then he'll probably sit down with, is it John Henry and those at boardroom level that will then probably say, what we actually looking for next season? What are we planning to achieve? How can we put this right? We have trusted you with a war chest. You've brought these players in. Don't get me wrong; these players will need time to bed in. But when you're a player on that sort of money and you're paying the big money for, you expect to come in, be ready made, and start hitting the ground running. I cannot see Liverpool clawing anything back this year. I think that it's typical Liverpool law where this will happen. The Premier League will be nothing. They'll get nothing. They'll scrape the Champions League places. However, they'll go and win something like the Champions League.
Yeah.
So it Slot's got a get out of jail free card. It's his free monopoly way of keeping himself in there.
I mean, I would love Tottenham to win the Champions League. There's a team that finished fourth from bottom to then go and win the Champions League. It makes a mockery of it all, doesn't it?
It does. It does. And I've got to say, Kate, as being number one commentator, that's because you're arguing with yourself in the chat, love. I'm not really arse. Of course you're not. How many of the last I didn't even defend myself, Chris, about Spice Girls wallpaper. I said I had no problem in it. However, being from Yorkshire clearly seems to be a humongous problem.
If we have a look, how many of the last comments have been Kate? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 comments in a row. Oh, Kate.
She's dedicated. I'll give her that.
She is. She's a bloody woman. She won't let it lie, will she? Love you, Kate. Mate, thank you so very much. I've forgotten I'd got the wrong the wrong logo up in the top corner. But
that's right.
There we go. Hey everybody, thank you for watching. Like I say, it is at turfmoorhouse TV and at LTID TV or Leicester Till I Die TV, whichever you want to. Hope you've enjoyed this. We'll do it again in a couple of weeks because I say I'm going to be sunning myself, getting me white bits brown next week in Lanzarote. Cheers, Blue Fox from Canada. Well, you're a gentleman, sir. So yeah, do it in 2 weeks again, mate.
I'm more than up for that. More than up for that.
And you are up for most things, I believe.
I am. I am.
Yes.
Just not adultery.
Oh, he's trying to dig that. He's trying to dig himself out that hole, I feel. No, I'm joking. I can't play that video. I can't. Right. Dan, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. No, thank you very much. Like I say, it's good to be back working together again.
Yeah.
We try and find ways and means.
Say working, it's a bit, it's a very loose term.
Two idiots in detention that still haven't learnt their lesson. That's what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Can I just say, in 2 weeks' time, please don't have that wishy-washy bloody shirt behind you. Take it down.
What? Do you mean the one that you said looks like Coventry?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, come on.
I'll find something else.
Yeah,
I'm sure I've got like a severe shirt somewhere.
Mind you, we got pink, so I can't really say much.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, I've got it. I've got it.
Wait till next week when I start scratching walls. You can dig out Sparkle's paper underneath.
Oh, if only I had a green screen. Oh God, I need to have a word with who? Oh, was it Maisie that had the picture of you as a kid?
No, I've got it. I've got it on my phone. I actually showed it on one of my streams the other day. It will be around. Just got to fight off all my nudes, obviously.
Well, look, I mean, you keep sending me dick pics. I tell you.
Selfish, you mean?
You need the operation, mate.
I definitely do. I definitely do. It's not. I'm a growing out of shower. Oh, it is here. I know full well I'm going to come across it in a minute.
Save it for next time. That will be a thing for next time.
You say that, and then it'll literally. Oh.
Just promise me one thing, Dan.
Yes.
Don't go to bed tonight. Lay on bed and watch this back. Have it on your mobile phone and fall asleep with me on your chest.
Which one? What am I watching? I thought you were playing a video. Oh, I thought you were
No. I say don't watch the show back and have me nestled on your chest and you just again. I've been on his chest many times. Everybody,
I like it.
I remember. Yes.
Why can't I find? Yes, definitely for next time. I can't find it for some reason.
Yeah. Hey, have a good week, mate. Good luck against. Are you playing Arsenal?
Yeah, like I say, a bit of a free hit, but
yeah, we've got Blackburn Rovers.
Yeah, dick 'em.
Well, you said that last time. Last game of last time we were down here and they beat us. So
they're shit. They're shit.
Yeah.
And I know you can say that you've obviously you're coming off the back of a defeat to Millwall though, right? And you'll want to make amends for that. You're at home. You'll want to make amends for it.
Yes.
Do them, and do them really fucking good and all. I can bleed.
Well, like I say, I meant to say thank you very much. I mean, first of all, when you do the prediction league, you're so quick. When you just think, I've just put these down, or you've already got them ready. I don't know.
No,
but
I like to be, make sure that I'm there.
You like to be in first, don't you? So, Case.
I do. Yeah. That's Bonnie Blue.
I'll just. Yes. On that note, but thank you for predicting a Leicester win over Blackburn. All the best, mate. Thanks everybody for watching. Support both channels. If you're a Leicester fan, go over and support at turfmoorhouse TV. If you're a Burnley fan, come over and support us at Leicester Till I Die TV. We get on well. You know, like I say, I just wish I'd missed that test tube all them years ago. Unfortunately, at the moment, the intro is all Leicester, and so is the outro as well, because somebody was that lazy, didn't do a new intro or outro. We'll have it ready for next time, though.
We will.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. See you tomorrow at 7 o'clock. You got anything tomorrow night coming up on yours?
I am doing a pre-record for the Arsenal preview.
There you go. Always on. You're an Arsenal fan, AFTV, aren't you?
I've been in Arsenal for many a year.
Well, that is very true. That is very true. We'll be back at 7 on Leicester. We'll be talking owners. Stay tuned to find out what that is. Have a good one. Take care. Cheers.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.